Welcome back for another episode of A Very Venture Vodcast. Today we will be talking about Season 4.2, Episode 4, Everybody Comes to Hanks.
Yep. We want to throw out a disclaimer. If you have not watched pretty much any of Season 4, and really Seasons 1 through 3, just to be, strict about it, you really shouldn't be watching this because we will be spoiling like nobody's business. This is
Jesus.
Pretty much. This is just for other super fans that have already seen the episode. So, yay!
So the title was Everybody Comes to Hanks, which we're guessing is a call to Everybody Comes to Rick's, which was the original name of the play that Casablanca is based on. Black and white dames.
So this is part 1 of 2 parts. It looks like Hank's turn. We're going to see what he did this summer, no pun intended. And then we're going to see what Dean did over the summer. And so this was Everybody Comes to Hanks. Next week is Bright Lights, Dean City. And I don't think they've ever done a 2-part before that wasn't a season finale.
Season finale, yeah. I don't think so.
I'm 90% sure.
I don't think they have.
96% sure.
I'd go with 99.
Okay.
So Hank is left alone for 4 days while Hatred and Dr. Venture accompany Dean to drop him off at his internship and then to attend the Music Man.
I mean, business first. It looks like Sergeant Hatred is only there to protect Rusty.
Yeah.
He kind of just leaves Hank high and dry.
The boys in general. I mean...
He just seemed to accompany Dean because he was with Rusty.
Yeah. I feel like he looks out for the boys only if he knows that Dr. Venture is totally fine and there's no, threat. But his main goal is to take care of Dr. Venture.
It seems that we kind of found out that it was kind of, I think, Brock's main goal also because of Operation Rusty's Blanket.
Yeah.
But he really did seem to be at least trying to protect the whole family.
And he, cared about the boys a lot. So it's almost fatherly.
Although it makes his failure a lot less if he let them die 14 times. You know what I mean? If he was really supposed to be looking out for Rusty. So I'll go with that.
Yeah, okay. So, amazingly, if there's any plot B in this episode, it is that the alchemist moves in with Dr. Orpheus after him and his boyfriend break up, and he is super bored.
I thought it was funny because we go from having 3 running plots at one time to just having pretty much one
storyline.
Yeah. So the alchemist sort of becomes intertwined in the mystery of the episode, mostly because he's really, really bored. And he's like, I'll be your partner until we solve this case or until I get completely bored doing it. It's
also later revealed that he cheated on his boyfriend with Shortleaf, which was kind of interesting.
Scandal!
Yeah.
It also seems that he has this new gift that I don't think we've ever heard about before.
No.
And it's that he can tell when people are lying. However, kind of raises the question do you remember when he point blank asked Shortleaf in the beginning if they'd slept together before?
Well, maybe they didn't sleep together. Maybe there was just hanky-panky.
But he said that he wanted to move in with him. I mean...
Maybe it was really awesome hanky-panky.
I mean, with Shortleaf, I'm sure. I've heard on the interwebs.
So Hank is left with orders to get a job while Hatred and Dr. Venture go to New York with Dean.
Yeah.
And he does a pretty good job at it.
He does. He becomes an entrepreneur, which is kind of like what his dad does, except even more independent. He's not trying to live off the Venture name, although Hank Co. is all over everything.
Less science, more
Walmart.
Business.
He's got, he's a notary at Publick. He has a cafe. He's puppet repair. He's a detective agency. He is... It's sells men's shoes, electronics, massage, school supplies, and there were others. Although
mostly he just steals stuff from the house and sells it back to Dr. Venture. He hires Dermot, or Pudgy McTalk-a-lot, as Al calls him, and then... Which,
by the way, I forgot to mention this, but that's what the Kimson's name in the credits is this season.
Pudgy McTalks-a-lot.
Yeah, it's just great.
Kimson Butler.
Mm-hmm. So... The whole episode sort of, kicks off when there's a mystery that needs to be solved. Lots of mysteries. Where Hank has to solve the mystery of where Dermot's mom is. Spoiler, she just forgot her cell phone and they like found her later. However, that gets the ball rolling on a completely different mystery, which is that Dermot reveals that he thinks that Brock's his dad.
Yeah, and Dermot like casually mentions it. And Hank is like, no, we need to get down to the bottom of this. And he seems okay with it at first, that Dermot is Brock's son. Although he does say, I can't believe it. I don't want to believe it. Yeah. And it's kind of like...
He says that to Al later, like, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like Hank really wants to get to the bottom of this, mostly because he really doesn't want Dermot to end up being Brock's son. I mean, he looks up to Brock so much, and Dermot is such like a ween that he really just would not be okay with that.
I think it's more that he just wouldn't want someone else being his kid, you know, because he would fancy that position for himself.
Right. He's vying for that job.
Exactly. Okay, so when pressed, Dermot says that, well, that's what my freaking mom told me, that Brock was his kid, which is, if true, raises other questions, but we'll get to that in a minute. But he said that she gave him this key that had, like, the Venture Industries little logo on it, which, by the way, where can I get one? And he said that his mother told him that it belonged to his father. So the color in the episode is, like, continually turned on and off.
It's really cool.
I know, based on whether Hank is wearing his, as I like to refer to it, Indiana Tracy hat.
Came with this detective whip.
I know. So, it was so cool, like, the way that they got the animation. It's, like, flawless. And then if you, like, slow-mo it, which I did, it fades, the color, like, fades in and out. It's just really neat.
So, side note, apparently the backgrounds for the show were initially in color, and then they were turned to black and white after they got the episode back. And that was... the Adult Swim bump before told us that. And then they showed us some screenshots of some of the stuff in color.
Do you think it's true? Like, really true? I also, it's weird because we just talked about that last week, so I was like, it's a message!
Also, Nikki, who we originally saw in a teaser bump and some character sketches online, first appears in the show as Dermot's sister.
Yeah. Which, by the way... What gene pool is that? I mean...
I don't know how they're related.
So Billy Undercover goes to Hank Co. to spill the beans, but he's not actually Billy. He's supposed to be, like, incognito.
He's wearing a hat.
And a trench coat, and he's wearing sunglasses over his eye patch. Yeah. So he tells Hank that she deals antiques. And at first it sounds really, like, secret and sketchy. He's like, let's say valuable merchandise. In my circle, when you can't find something and you've got a fistful of hot cabbage, you dial Nikki Fictel. Fictel. And, but really, when he gives the card, she just sells dolls, figurines, and collectibles. So in, you know, his world, that's a hot, you know, item.
Well, you know. Also, as he leaves, Hadrid is like, see you later, Billy. So Hank goes to question Nikki and gets seduced / statutory raped.
You guys must have been, we were freaking out. I bet you guys were freaking out.
It was...
The scream heard around the world.
I'll say it was surprising, and that'll be an understatement. Because I was shocked. First of all, I never thought that either one of the boys was ever going to get laid.
Ever.
Even though they've been, like, leading up to it and hinting, you know, they got the little, like, stash and all that stuff happening. No. I didn't think it was actually going to happen. Like, it was never going to come to fruition. They were going to flirt with the idea, and then they were going to lead us on, and it was never going to happen.
It's like a definite stab going, no, these characters are changing. They're different people. Because, like, in the first season, they're going along like we're in a comic strip. Like, you know, family circle or whatever the hell. You know, like, nobody's ever going to grow up. No one's ever going to change. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, season 2, they're like, oh, no, we're actually got personalities now. They're going to change. Yeah. And now this is just like, anything can happen. Like, anything can happen.
I'm scared. I'm scared. It's like, that was, like, one of the boundaries that, like, they kind of, like, flirted with but never crossed. And now that they have, it's like, well, what does that mean? Like, that means that, like, they could really decide to do anything.
Anything. Oh, I'm scared. I feel like...
We know you're scared.
Anything could happen. Like, there's nothing stopping them. In fact, I feel like anytime that someone's like, they couldn't do that, I'm like, watch them. To them, it's like a challenge, you know?
I know. Don't say that they can't do things, because they will.
I mean, they killed off half of a comedy duo. They could just... anybody. And go, you know what? The fun part is we're going to make this world keep going. Despite the fact that you're like, how could this continue without, like, a Venture brother or Dr. Venture or whatever? I just feel like anybody could just, at any moment... Not to thrust
Don't tempt them.
my paranoia upon you, but anyway.
So, it turns out that Nikki is kind of a fangirl.
Yeah, in a really super scary way. So, when she's all seducing Hank, she's like, you're just like Rusty from the cartoon. Your dad is a scared little has-been, but you're just like the real Rusty Venture. So fearless and powerful, but trapped inside of the body of a young man. So creepy.
And more proof that Hank is like his dad.
Ugh, so much like his dad.
Which is weird. And we don't know if we're comfortable with this idea. We're used to Dean and Dr. Venture.
Yeah.
Hank and Dr. Venture is just a weird, scary, unexplored territory.
I know. So Orpheus and Al decided to get into, I guess you could just say, magical mischief. Is really like, they're just bored or something. And so they start poking around in the past trying to get, solve the mystery of, who Dermot's father is. They find out something really heinous. Mostly that Nikki is actually revealed to be Dermot's mom.
Apparently, Dr. Venture dated her when she was 15 and the president of his fan club. And he got her pregnant, and her mom banished him from her life, albeit she did write in a lifetime of financial support into that banishment. And so he writes him a big check, and Dermot is raised as Nikki's brother, which... Wholly dysfunctional family.
And
wow.
It's so creepy. It makes Dr. Venture, it's like one more thing to add to his list of douchebaggery,
And just creeperness. Like, he slept with the president of his fan club when she was 15 and got her pregnant.
Of course, we don't know how much he knew. Like, we don't know if he knew she was a huge fangirl.
He said that... Oh, he said he knew that she was the president, but he said that she said she was 20. He's like, what was I supposed to do, card her? It's like...
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's the president of your fan club.
So that makes a kind of creepy side note in that Dr. Venture is kind of incredibly virile. He's got the twins. He's got Dermot, and then we have our mystery baby from Sky, who we're led to believe in the premiere of season 2 is also his child.
So, Dermot is Hank's half-brother. That's what that means.
Ugh. I mean, he's both of their half-brothers.
Yeah, well, yeah, Hank and Dean's.
It's creepy.
That sucks.
I know.
Imagine, like, kind of thinking that Dermot is, like, a punky jerk, and then finding out that he's your brother.
Well, think about, it made me feel bad for Dermot. That kid needs so much therapy.
His
entire life is lies and delusion. And you don't know how much of any of it.
And how much of it does he know?
And how much,
What exactly does he know about that situation? I think that he knows that Dr. Venture is his father. Although, we don't know because he says Brock's his father. But maybe he's just embarrassed.
But we don't know because that was his grandmother who picked him up. Yeah. So we don't know, like, she hates Dr. Venture. So maybe she told him that it was Brock was his father. Although...
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
So, is he delusional? Is he just completely unwilling? Yeah, is he completely unwilling to believe that Dr. Venture is his real father?
I would be.
I feel like, by the way, does this feel super soap opera-y?
Yeah, it is very, as the world turns.
I know, like, secret fathers. But at least we got an answer, though, right? Actual answer? So
we got one answer and 5,000 more questions.